Hello, we are joined again on the DCHL Outsider podcast, the fifth most popular DCHL podcast that exists in the world. So we're top five in the DCHL casts. We're trying to get to number one. We'll do it one of these days. We have a special guest here to help us break through. Introduce yourself, please.
It's Aubrey Keech, and I'm captain of the High Rollers and the Midnight Riders in DCHL, and play on the Eyeslanders in MDHL.
Okay, so there we go. We only have Aubrey, only one of the Keeches.
Yeah.
One is better than none, but
Yep.
one of these days we'll get all three going. Fingers crossed. So
That's not a very good plan for.
I don't know. It's so speaking of the Keeches, there's Aubrey and there's Austin and there's Melissa. So I think it's awesome. I love it when siblings play together. Tell me what are your experiences like playing with your fam?
It's actually pretty good. I've played with Melissa much more than I've played with Austin, which is different than growing up because Austin and I were sort of so close in age. Like we played a lot of sports together growing up, whereas there's like a 5-year gap between me and Melissa. So it was kind of, it's like I didn't really play sports with her that much when I was younger. So,
Okay. And which one of you is the baby?
Melissa,
She is the youngest. Okay.
youngest. Yep. So.
Okay. So you played a lot of sports with Austin growing up, and you find yourself here in Rockville. So what is the Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, so I had the awesome pleasure of talking to your parents a little bit on one of the streams,
Yeah.
and they're adorable.
They tried. They actually gave you good compliments. They said he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. So,
Well, that's the first time someone's ever thought that I knew what I was talking about. So,
yeah.
So, what do your parents think of you guys all playing together still?
They think it's kind of amusing. And when I started, because I was the first kind of the three of us to play, and I played for maybe I want to say 2 seasons of DCHL before I played with Melissa. So at the time, they were kind of like, we weren't really that interested in it. They're like, okay, whatever, he's playing hockey, who cares? But then they got more interested in it, as my other 2 siblings do. So now they, always ask us how they're going. And, Melissa's team, Puck Mafia, beat Islanders in the last game of the regular season and again in the first game of the playoffs. So when I saw them like this weekend, they were kind of giving me, about it and saying, "Oh, I heard you played Melissa. Who won the game?"
She got some bragging rights on you right there. That's a rough
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think I hold the series lead over her, but the last couple have gone in her favor. So, but no, it's nice to, I like that I play both on some teams with them and then play against them too. So it's kind of a good rivalry from that aspect.
Okay, what is your favorite team in DCHL or MDHL? What's your favorite team in Rockville?
I would say probably the High Rollers because that's my first team. I like all of my teams, and part of why I like playing on a handful of different teams is because there's people I can play against in one league, but play with them in another. So I kind of like having like a mix of players that I get to play both with and against. But if I had to pick one, it would be the High Rollers, just because it's the one I've been involved with the longest.
Okay, and speaking of the High Rollers, this team won the championship. I don't want to say last season because it just it's so recently changed. But a season and a season ago or a season and a change ago. So you guys had won the championship last season.
Yep.
It was I don't want to say it was a bit of a downswing. It was, I mean, all the games were really close. I mean, as always, I think D4 is just the best division in the league because all the teams are so close.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you think is going to happen in D4 for High Rollers this season coming up?
I think we're I don't know if I'd say yet we're the favorites to win, but I think we have 2 kind of big. We got Roderick back in goal, so he had to take last season off, and Dennis joined the High Rollers as our goalie. And so, of course, when he's Super Dennis, he's great. And then, he's also prone to having games where he'll give up 4 goals in, pretty quick order. So having Roderick is really helpful, having a steady hand in goal. And then we're hoping to get a bit more of Mike Staley out this year. And also we've got a new player, Brian, who's looking pretty good too. And they're both going to play center, which is where we were the weakest last year, because we just, we had Dimitri, who's terrific and probably one of the best players down in D4. And then Alex Bureau, who's also, he's pretty good, but he was hurt for the end of the season and into the playoffs.
Yep.
We were, in our playoff games, we were really weak at center because after Dimitri, we didn't have many people who played that position. So.
Okay. So speaking of new Brian, High Rollers played their first game yesterday, I guess. Yep. And Brian led off with scoring. He scored first, and then other Brian B, and then Drew scored. So that's a pretty good start for the High Rollers team right there. I mean, it's crazy. Look at it. I mean, 34 shots for and 29 against by Stick Magnets. So it wasn't like Stick Magnets just got steamrolled. It was a close game, but.
No, and we had both, Roderick had a couple really good saves when we did have some breakdowns. And, I thought everybody who was playing on defense, which included Jason Stitcha, who doesn't normally play defense.
You had Jason on D?
We had just kind of one of those weird weeks where we were only missing 3 guys, but they were all 3 of our guys who normally play defense. So we had Jason and Austin, who also doesn't normally play defense. We had the 2 of them kind of holding it down. And they actually, they played with a lot of energy, and they were contesting shots, and they were just, they put shots on net, but we kept them from getting a lot of really good looks. So that helped. And, I think our team has really good chemistry now that sort of everybody's back and healthy, except for me, of course, but I'll be back before too long.
So I think you brought up an interesting point there where the number of shots doesn't really matter.
Right.
And, the quality of chances matters more important than the quantity. And I feel like, as someone who doesn't really play defense, on D, a lot of it's more, I think a good approach is to contain a player so they don't get the quality chance, as opposed to being a little too aggressive and maybe getting burned.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part I struggle with on defense, because I'll play way aggressive, try to jump in front and pick it off the pass or whatever, and then suddenly they're behind me with a, terrific opportunity, versus if I keep reminding myself, just stand in front, funnel them over to the side, take away their angle, and then let everybody else get back down and just don't let them get a good shot.
So Melissa, I mean, I don't know if Melissa is a bit of a defender or a forward. I mean, I personally, I think she's great on defense. She's fast. She's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And she knows where to be. She got really good hockey awareness, good sports awareness.
Yeah.
Do any of the? I mean, you basically said Austin prefers to play forward. I think you prefer playing forward as well. And you think Melissa prefers D or forward?
She likes defense. She will play wing occasionally. And one of the things that I think, especially, but she kind of feels more comfortable on defense, but also sometimes it's just hey, let me play up this game just to, kind of run around, get a different feel of it, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Which is nice, and it's helpful too on the High Rollers. We've got 5 ladies. So depending on who's there, we might have a couple people just want to play wing, a couple people want to play defense. So her and also Allison Rapp will really just go wherever we need them, which is really nice to have that sort of player who feels comfortable doing either position.
Yeah, the flex players really go a long way in kind of solidifying a roster and making it where you don't have to bend over backwards to make it fit. But do you think we can get an all Keech line?
Yeah, I think you could. I think trying to get some goals out of that line would probably be asking a bit much. But we've in some of the tournaments, we've all three been out there at the same time. But I don't think all three out there as an offensive line.
Okay.
Possible I might try that for the Midnight Riders at one point this season, because that's the only team all three of us are on.
If it happens, make sure it's streamed so we can get the Keech line.
Yeah, I'll give you advance notice so you can I'd probably bring them out for maybe the first minute and a half and then adjust everything to, get everybody in a good position. Because it would be, like there's times I feel like, especially with my brother who plays, wing and center, like I'll feel like we have good chemistry and we're anticipating where the other person is, but then like we'll have a play where we both like hit the ball at the same time in opposite directions and that kind of thing. Which is, that happened in the Feasterville tournament at least twice where he and I both were running for the ball and sort of canceled each other out and, we went right to an opponent. So,
so when it comes to the Feasterville tournament, we had Stitch it last week.
Mm-hmm.
The people I seem to grab, they were, two high rollers back-to-back weeks, two, null player back. I'm not trying to play favorites towards the team. You guys just seem more willing to put up with me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about, your experience at Feasterville. Your first time doing a tournament like that. I don't want to just repeat all the stuff I talked to Jason with,
right.
But we'll mention it. See what your thoughts are on the experience and what you took away from it.
Yeah. I actually listened to last week, so what I'd say would repeat Jason. I think the one thing I would notice, especially from the players who this was their first tournament, were commenting on Sunday after playing like our DCHL game. It was like just kind of an extra level of confidence because the speed was, it's like we kind of played up against something that we hadn't experienced before, and then being back in DCHL, you felt more comfortable. People were, I would say more, what's the word I'm trying to look for? They were more encouraged with themselves, and they were looking for opportunities and feeling confident, like, hey, I can do this, I can make those kind of plays. And they said, oh, well, it's after the tournament, it's like, this is just a nice, refresh. So I think that helped. We would have liked to score a couple goals, but everybody had fun. It was good bonding, and the results, they'll get better, in time. So.
Yeah, you got to learn to walk before you can run, and a lot of teams have definitely been on the side where it doesn't necessarily go so well the first time, or things like that. I mean, first ladies have had tournaments where they struggle to score. IPA, when they brought some teams, struggled to score. I mean, it's one of those things that will come in time, and it's
and it's good. I mean, it's gives us something to work towards, and that's always just to see what it is and where you can improve. And I think we were talking about this earlier, but I felt like it was good to just sort of see hockey, like floor hockey, in a different way, and some of the different like you needed to use your skills there more than just your athletic ability, which sometimes, especially for like me in DCHL, I feel like a lot of the plays I make are just outrunning someone or out hustling them as opposed to making like a skillful hockey play. So when you're really forced to like use your stick handling and use good clean passes, it's good, I think, to just work on those skills and not just rely on, well, I'm going to outrun this person to the ball.
That's a really good point. I think in Rockville, I mean, I don't want to say all too often, but in Rockville, a lot of the time, it is just, hey, I can outrun this person, or hey, I'm stronger than them, so I'm going to get it, or something along those lines. And it's a little bit different in a tournament setting like that. But
yep.
So it was another thing I wanted to mention, big time. I'm going to put you on the spot here. So Last season we had you a little bit in the streaming booth.
Mm-hmm.
and we got to get you back up there. It was good. I think you're very calm, which helps because some people out there who get a little crazy. I'm not going to say Claude
Yeah.
Williams or Suds or Stitcha or Joe.
Yeah.
People. You're more calm, you're relaxed, and I enjoy the calm demeanor you have when you were commenting. So I think that was definitely good and helped balance out the, I don't want to say loudmouths, but the loudmouths. So
Yeah, well, yeah, and it was nice. It was a nice contrast with Claude because he was the person I called a couple games with, and he was very into it and excited, and it's I do tend to be more reserved and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm definitely planning, especially since I'm going to be out for a few weeks. I'll definitely plan on calling some games, and it's the nice part for me too is calling the games like, especially the ones in D4. I felt like I had from calling a couple Stick Magnets games and seeing how they played and where people position themselves. Like it's almost like inside scouting kind of when you're watching them.
in a lot of
So
ways it is. I mean, from my experience, when I watch, like I'll see, hey, this is what this team does. Hey, this is what they do
yeah,
well. And not only is it fun to stream, I think that if you start streaming games of teams in your division or going back and just even watching the streams, you'll see the things that they do right that
yeah,
you want to
exactly.
emulate, and you'll see the things that they kind of struggle with that you can, take advantage of to get some good outcomes.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely it's a lot of fun, and that was actually way back in the day for I guess if 2005 is back in the day, but originally I had wanted to when I went to college, my plan was I was gonna like be on ESPN someday, and the so the first like literally I was like at that point I was a communications major, and the first day the department person like department head or whatever, they talked with like each student and they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be on ESPN. And he was like, hey, that's really cool like goal to have, but he's like, there's probably like 100,000 kids entering college this year who have that as the goal. So he's like, take a week, think about it, like if you're calling games in a small town in New Hampshire, are you going to feel happy with your life? And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's a good point. So I ended up switching and eventually made my way to law school. But it was something I enjoyed. So it's nice to actually get to, I wouldn't say it's equivalent of being on ESPN, obviously, but it's nice to.
We do have
Yeah.
more viewership on the DCHL streams than on ESPN, so no pressure to you, just for reference. We have, was it tens and thousands of Michael and Son Sportsplex, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not billions around the world. So you
Yeah.
get in your audience, Aubrey. You get to live the dream.
Yeah, no, but it is cool. I do like that part of it, and it's a lot of fun. And it's you know, I think especially like calling the game with somebody else the first time, like especially for anybody who's interested in doing it, like and
Hint,
it's
hint. Anyone who's listening who
yeah,
wants to try it
yeah,
out.
like call the first game or two with somebody who's done it before, and like you really once you kind of get those first couple minutes over, it's not any big deal. But it's nice to have somebody there who you're like, okay, they're
Yeah.
gonna start this and handle that, and you can kind of dip your toes in. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. So hopefully I'll look at the schedule this weekend and we can make something work. So
Yeah, so check Twitter later this week and see if Aubrey will be on the list of streamers, and that'll be pretty cool. So Aubrey, I know you listen to the podcast. Apparently, awesome, hooray! I got at least one listener. So I love asking random questions,
mhm.
and I'm excited to do a 2-minute random question segment with you if you are good to go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And you're from the DC area.
Yep, I'm grew up in Rockville, so right off
Grew up.
Falls.
Okay, so
Mhm.
for any of the questions that I ask, I always say, don't be too much of a homer. Don't be everything Baltimore or DC. I don't want all those answers. You have to give me a little,
Yeah,
maybe.
that shouldn't be too much of a problem, but I'll try to avoid. I do have a bit of a blind eye towards the Caps, but I'll uh, try. That's the only DC team that I mean, the Wizards kind of, but mostly just the Caps in the area.
All right, so Aubrey Keech, we got a 2-minute power play going. I want you on the point with me.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite topping on pizza?
Pepperoni and black olives.
Black olives are disgusting. Favorite place to get pizza?
That's a tough one. I would say recently it's been Paisanos, but also like Lido's if I'm feeling in the mood for it. It's kind of those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite sport outside of hockey?
I'd say basketball.
Okay. And did you ever play basketball on a team growing up in school or travel or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean not for a school team. I played like rec leagues and stuff growing up.
Okay.
And I played intramural all the time in college. So,
All right. What is your favorite basketball team and player?
favorite team is the Wizards, which is unfortunate. Favorite player kind of comes and goes as a season. I would say Steph Curry probably right now, which is not, popular opinion, but
All time?
all time is Kevin Garnett.
Okay. So Steph Curry recently said he does not believe we landed on the moon. Do you believe that we landed on the moon?
I was actually I was and still I'm a huge X-Files buff growing up, so I am.
I love the X-Files.
Yeah,
Love the X-Files.
yeah, it was a foundational television show for me. But so I'm willing to believe that we might not have all the answers there.
Okay. That is acceptable. Can you slam dunk a basketball?
On a like Little Tykes hoop, I could.
All right, that's all that we ask.
Yeah. The ones at Michael and Sons are probably like 4 inches too high.
Got you. When was the last time that you have ever, I'm taking up the question as I go along right now. When was the last time that you traveled during the holidays?
Last year we travel. My wife's family is from New York, so we go up to New York pretty much every year during the holidays, either for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So.
Okay, so you're married. I just found that out now.
Yep.
Actually, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
We talked Wednesday. I just found out again because I forgot the last time. That's what happens. I would say when you get old, you got a bad memory. But I always had a bad memory.
Yeah.
So, we're in New York.
So that's and I know
is it New York City?
It's near Poughkeepsie.
Oh, Poughkeepsie. That's right. Yes, we've had this. Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
The actual real upstate New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Oh my God, laughing at me now. All right, so we went a little long. I got one more question. I got to ask this one. I've been asking this like pretty much everyone.
Okay.
Favorite Halloween candy. I don't know why I'm obsessed with this, but I love talking Halloween candy.
Reese's with Three Musketeers is like a very close second.
Okay, I respect anyone who goes Reese Cups. It's a good answer. It's a safe answer. And Reese Cups are so good.
That's pretty much my thought on it. That it's like the absolute one that if I had to have just one, that's what I would go for. So.
Yeah. All right. So those are pretty good answers. I like it. So, what has been your best hockey experience in Rockville, and what's been your best like hockey or sports experience like ever?
Well, the good news is those kind of can be the same answer because my hockey experience is truly just like really limited to DCHL. Branched out some, but when I joined the league, I had not played since I want to say maybe 6th grade or something like that.
Okay.
So, but in the league, I mean, winning the championship with the High Rollers, that's probably the best single moment. And then, of course, scoring my first goal, that would be
awesome. Yeah.
Oh.
So I got to interrupt for a second. So this is I got to break the fourth wall here. So to do most of these interviews, they're generally done on Skype. Sometimes I'll do one live. I'll bring like a laptop and like a nice fancy mic, which is not really fancy, but it's fancy to me. And most people just, Skype works, whatever. Aubrey has me on Skype, and I've got the picture minimized, and it's literally just his nose. Like, he's got very clean nostrils for reference.
Yeah. Well, in my defense, I'm like very behind on technology, so I just installed Skype last night for the purposes of this
Most
podcast.
people generally just install Skype for the podcast. There's got to be better ways to do it, and I'll look into it in the future. But we got Skype going, and it's
Yeah.
working pretty well for the moment.
Yep.
So best sports moment outside of hockey, then. So I think the High Rollers Championship was pretty awesome. I mean I really like D4 because so many teams so many teams are always competitive. Different teams tend to win it every year. It's a real crapshoot of a division, and I like the closeness and the competitive aspect of it so much. And I'm not saying I'm not rooting for you to win it again, but I feel like I'd like a different team. I'd love to have a different team win it every year.
Yeah.
It leads to great rivalries.
Yeah, that it does. And we're kind of, because we're playing of course, the Crazy Eights this week, and that's the same team that took us down in the playoffs, and also the last game of the regular season last season. So we've been kind of looking forward to this one to get the bad taste out of our mouth of the loss. I would say that D4, I like that it's not just competitive, but I really feel like all the teams are very, like, everybody is nice on the teams. There's a lot of like friendly rivalries, but really
Yeah.
no, there's not a lot of people who totally dislike anyone or that kind of thing. So, and it'll be nice with 8 teams this year instead of 6 to just get some
That's
more variety.
crazy. There's 8 teams. For those not following the new changes, DCHL D4 there's 2 divisions now. We got the Metropolitan and the Atlantic. I'm not a fan of those. I think they should be divisions either named after players or contributors in some way. I think that's personally, it's a great way to keep people's legacy and their spirit alive and all that. I'm gonna see if I can get Suds to change them. But you are in the current Metro division with First Ladies Eleanor, the Crazy Eights, and the Gwendolyn Gladiators.
Yeah. So it's and the Gladiators and the Crazy Eights were teams that really gave us a lot of trouble last year. So it's like, I looked at it and I was like, well, that's good, because it gives us a couple opportunities to kind of figure them out. And, I think having Roderick back in goal will probably help, but both of those teams, they would just come out and get a 3-4 goal lead on us, and we'd spend all game fighting back, but never quite be able to, get it tied up again. So.
Yeah, you added a few players, and First Ladies get a little bit weaker in a sense. Splitting the 2 teams, it will always make teams a little bit weaker, not necessarily not necessarily in terms of players, but in terms of chemistry. You're used to playing on one line with these players, and now it's okay. Well, some are here, some are on the other team, so you got to develop new chemistry. So that'll help a little bit. Having Roderick back will help. Gladiators doing the same thing with the split. They got Gladiators and Blue Knights. So we're gonna see a bunch of new look teams, and Crazy Eights are pretty much static the way they are.
Yeah, but they're pretty good, they're
a very good team.
Yeah, they seem to be able to score really, I feel like every game Aaron gets at least like 2 goals against us just, before the game's like 10 minutes in. So
if it makes you feel any better, Aaron scored a lot of goals against a lot of teams. I mean, he led the league in goals last season.
Yeah, so it's not a unique experience to the High Roll. So
that'll be interesting. So best, I got to know the best non hockey sports moment.
Best non-hockey sports moment. I'd say when I was in law school, I played. They had like a law school softball tournament, so I played. I played second base for the men's team. And the tournament was at UVA every year, and the men's team was notoriously horrible because we would put all of our really good players on the co-ed teams, and they would be like really competitive and into it. And so my first year, the men's team, it was really just me and a bunch of my friends who weren't good enough to make the co-ed team. But we didn't win much of note, but we were like competitive and had a fun time, and it was like big party, and like, that then it kind of came the next year. Everybody wanted to play on the men's team because they were like, oh, look how much fun these guys are having, and this is so just the like bonding with people, and it was like 4 or 5 days playing baseball or softball, I guess. But that would be probably my favorite moment. There's some like rec basketball games I can remember having good games or that kind of thing, but nothing that's like would be favorite sort of.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like the you made the team so cool that everyone wanted to be on it.
Exactly, yeah. So that was kind of our goal, was just to go out there and have fun, and I think it helped having a bunch of people who were already friends to begin with, but
yeah,
and making plays here and there always is nice too. So
that is pretty cool right there. We got to know Aubrey Keech right now. So give me a parting thought right now. We're gonna have to wrap this up soon. So I want to give me a random thought or something on your mind, something funny or weird or something. Something weird about you. Give me a random talent or fact about you that I do not know.
A random fact about me that you don't know. I guess trying to think. I guess I would say like back in my prior sports days before DCHL, I was very big into like any sort of like swag you could have. Like I would have, if I was playing pickup basketball, I'd have like arm sleeves and a headband and the like, leg tights and everything, and like and then when people started noticing, it just like it was almost like a dare. So by the end, it's like I'm wearing pretty much like a costume out there to go play sports, and that was
you got to have a picture of this somewhere, right?
I do. I can probably dig one up for you and find it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see this one. We're gonna do a throwback Thursday here with Aubrey Keech rocking it. And if you want to go next level, you wear that sleeve on your head.
Yeah. I sadly, actually, I very briefly had I had like a bag with all my old arm sleeves. In the very first DCHL game I played in, I brought it because I was like, it'll at least give me some elbow protection. And like that night, somebody had broke into my car and they stole they stole the bag that had all of my like old headbands and arm sleeves. And like 2 or 3 like practice floor hockey balls. So it was kind of the worst theft in America. So they just, I'm sure, saw a bag and was like, "Ooh, there's gonna be some good stuff in here."
There's some game used Aubrey Keech swag right there.
Yeah, exactly.
The original Big Baller brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be like, I was the type of person I would sort of like, I'd stand for LeVar Ball and I'd say, oh yeah, I'm gonna. Now those are probably priced out of my range, but I would, support that kind of braggadocious sort of thing, which is of course not generally how I carry myself. But
I know you come off as very calm and I want to see Aubrey Keech channeling his inner LeVar Ball one of these days. You're gonna do it on stream one. You gotta do it on stream Sunday.
All right, I'll
gotta do it.
Work on it. Yeah. Yep. So.
Oh my God! Now I got something. I'm totally looking forward to Sunday. I'm like dying. Sunday will not come quick enough.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get expectations too high, but I will try my best to.
All right. I'm loving this.
Calling one of the games with Claude, we kept trying to find a way to work in. Somehow Lil Wayne had come up, and there was a lyric that was "F is for phenomenal," and so Claude and I were like, "All right, we got to find a way to work that one into the broadcast," but we couldn't figure it out. We didn't have any good natural organic moments to insert it. So
what teams were playing? Because if it's the newly minted Flying Hellfish.
Yeah, which actually,
if Sepp Fraunhofer scores, F is for phenomenal and for Fraunhofer.
Yeah, that's a good point. It was actually, and Shangri-La was playing that game.
Oh my God, it was there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why you're the director of this, and I'm just the
Oh,
sort of peon in the organization. But
oh, that's gonna be his new hashtag. F
yeah,
is for phenomenal and for Fraunhofer.
yeah,
Does anyone else got a name, like a last name that starts with F? Probably. I can't think of one offhand. Oh, Joe
yeah,
Frew, but he's got like an old man goal thing going on.
yeah,
God, he scores a lot of goals.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I like the F is. Oh, we got. Oh, it's awesome. Chris
yeah,
Figs, goalie for
yeah,
Gwendolyn, player. Oh,
yeah.
goalie for Midnight Riders, player for Gwendolyn.
He's actually Roderick is actually goalie too for Midnight Riders. Chris is, I think, goalie for the Blue Knights.
Goalie. Oh, he's goalie for Blue Knights. Oh, he's goalie for Blue Knights
Yeah, I think
this
he's only.
season. Last season he was. Last season he was Midnight Riders. That's right.
Yep, yep. So he had some friends on Gwendolyn he wanted to play with, and
That makes sense.
Roderick, it worked out too because Roderick was looking to get back on a rec team as well. So, and of course I'm familiar with playing with him. So
Yeah, so that works out. I mean, I know there's a bit of a goalie musical chairs kind of going on in rec.
yeah, that's true. There was like everybody's kind of shifted. I don't know if it's because Dennis isn't around this season, so it sort of started something. But in any event,
Let's see, Lucky Sevens. They still Jason's goalie for them, so he stayed the same. Nightmares got Chris slash Ben playing for there. I mean, Chris is probably gonna be the goalie, but Ben probably subbed in a game. Pumpkins, Chris McKay, so he stayed the same. Midnight Riders changed goalie to Roderick. Street Sharks changed goalie to I guess Ryan Seatree set there to play goalie, but there's also Robert Kim. Don't know who that is. I guess Ryan's actually really good in net.
yeah, is he?
I was shocked. Yeah, I mean, just because it's one of those things like he's like a floor player. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know if he said he was gonna try playing goalie or
Yeah.
if he's like, oh yeah, I'll play goalie, or he played before, but he was really good. Like, okay, so there's a lot of people who start who just new wave of goalies. It's like Ben Berger, Ryan Seatree, Max Dean, Jason Max Dean playing net, and then there's a couple of people who either just started playing goalie or kind of came out of nowhere. And there's so many goalies nowadays, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Hockey Dad got Zach. He moved from
Yeah.
Street Sharks, and yeah, there's this huge random influx of goalies in the last season, and it's so cool because there's so many more goalies now. A lot of goalies aren't double dipping, and the
Yeah.
ones that are really want to it's
playing like 3 or 4 games in a day.
yeah, it's really cool, and I think the rec swapping goalies is really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like the rec division's gotten really good. I think after Crazy Eight's left, I feel like the division's pretty much exactly where it needs to be right now.
Yeah, I think there's Crazy Eight's left, and then Gwendolyn's. I mean, they're obviously still there with the Nightmare, but they retooled, and last year, First Ladies and Gwendolyn were kind of head above everyone else. I know Hockey Dad had a good season last year, but so now sort of a retooled Gwendolyn, and with First Ladies moving up, it seems like everybody's kind of on a more even skill level.
Yeah, it's that constant balancing that's going to go a long way. So I don't know. I feel like rec is getting to be like that division. It's not perfect, but it's getting close. I feel like D4, we've had that for the last couple of seasons. Now it's going to 8 teams. I think it's gonna be really good still, but I'm a little worried. But I think it has the potential to be even better with the 8.
Yeah, I think so.
And then D2 got I don't know if you follow some of the other divisions. D2 got a new team with the Ball Hogs. Melanie Maxine, who played goalie for First Ladies rec, she moved up to D2 and she's playing for Ball Hogs. Their first game of the year got a win against the Yager Bombs. Yager Bombs a little short staffed, but I mean they're missing some players, but at the same time, win's a win. So
yeah,
it's, I feel like a lot of these divisions, like Suds has done I hate to admit it, Suds is doing a really good job trying to balance things out and make it work. D3 needs a little bit of work. D3 is a hard division to figure out. They went to 6 teams now instead of the 5, so he's working on that. And in D1's always going to be hard because there's that's your high end, and finding a way to balance it. It'll eventually get there, but it'll be interesting. I feel like the league's doing great.
Yeah, no, I think it is, and just as obviously like a plug to the league, like the cool thing for me was like, I came like I'd played sports, but I hadn't really played hockey. So I was worried like, and I actually jumped right into D4. And I was worried there's going to be people who are just like total jerks or whatever. But like so many people are just like really friendly and open and um, just trying to give people advice, but like not in sort of a, mean way. Like, and then I've played on enough teams that I feel like it's pretty much the standard that there's going to be just people who want to help you get better, as opposed to them like, oh, this guy's terrible. What is he doing? He doesn't understand how icing works or offsides or can't stop wheeling, those kind of things. So,
one thing I tried to do in the last podcast, starting out the new season, was to try to mention something that players can work on, every week. Say, hey, this is something that some players do that you might want to reevaluate. This is something that might be helpful. And I tried it out last week. Do you have a topic or a suggestion for something that might be good to say? Because last week I talked about when you get the ball, take your time, look up, be a little more patient, and if you can do that, you'll get more out of the ball every time you get it. So.
Yeah, I would say,
not to put you on the spot right here.
Yeah,
but
no,
I just put you on the spot right here.
Yeah, I would say, just absolutely don't be afraid to communicate with people, and to like, sometimes I feel like there's so many situations where it's like, two people coming down and there's two defenders and they don't communicate and they both kind of go to the same person, and just like to have somebody just say, I've got ball, or, tell them where to go, get in the corner, those kind of things. Like, just don't. Sometimes I feel like people think like, well, I'm not the team captain, or I'm not, one of the star players or whatever, and they're kind of quiet out there. But like, just somebody taking charge to communicate out there and to talk to people it just makes a huge difference. And that was something that like took me a little while to get comfortable in it, but now I don't really have a problem telling someone, where to be, and, just communicating if there's sort of a scramble situation, that kind of thing.
That's like that's an amazing point, because I know a lot of players, I just think of myself. I was like, that's something I really don't do very well, is communicate on the floor. I kind of do my thing, and teammates kind of do their thing, and I feel like a lot of time maybe I should be talking more. Especially on defense. I feel like on offense you can kind of get away with it, not so much, but on D you need to be talking to your partner. On D, you're talking to the center, just telling the goalie too where to go, and hey, ball's here. So I think that's a really good thing, is for hey, everyone who's listening, go into Sunday and try to, when you get out on the floor, yell. I mean, not necessarily yell, but be vocal and try to talk to a teammate, and say on one or two plays, just say, talk out there on the floor. That'd be a pretty good goal, and that's a goal I'm gonna have for next Sunday as well. So that's awesome. That's a great call there, Aubrey, man, killing it.
Glad I could be of help.
I like it, man. That was solid, man. I never thought of that, because communication it's so important.
Yeah.
And it's easy, after the fact. Oh, we got crisscrossed, or we didn't know what to do there. But it's like being able to say, hey, while it's going, or hey, I got the ball. I'll go to get the ball. You go behind the net, and I'll pass it, or hey, go to the slot and I'll pass it, or or something like that.
Just simple things like that anybody can do. It's just sometimes it's like people are waiting for someone else to be the one to say something, and you get these situations where it's just like, nobody
says anything.
Yeah, exactly, because they're like, well, do they have it? That sort of thing. So, all right, well, it was a pleasure, Joe, and I was glad I could help out. And I will look at the schedule for Sunday, and then we can see what works.
All right, that was a blast, man. All right, thanks for doing it, and make sure you catch Aubrey on Sunday doing some streaming. Gonna do his LeVar Ball impression. Gonna be big baller.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Take care, Joe.
All right, thanks, Aubrey. All right, and that was our interview with Aubrey Keech. Thank you so much for doing it, Aubrey. Real blast. Had a good time. I look forward to seeing you in the booth more often, and excited for High Rollers, Midnight Riders, and the Islanders. So good luck to those teams, and we will keep in touch. So, all right, busy day of action here. We had first round of playoffs for MDHL. 7 o'clock game, Barbarians, Lord of the Rink here. This was a huge game. Lords of the Rink came out big. Bill Weeks scored, I believe Taylor scored. And, unfortunately we don't keep stats, but Lords of the Rink came out on top here. Barbarians knocked out in the semis again. They're having a hard time. I don't know what to say. The game has passed them by. I'm saying it. Barbarians are no longer the dynasty that they were, struggling to make it work. TNT, on the other hand, 2-0 blank crease crashers. TNT just defensively dominant and get the goals wherever they can find them. Green Monkeys, Ugly Pucklings. Monkeys come out on top here. Pucklings, the team's going to be rebranded and some pieces will be moving around here. Up and down season for them. Definitely a lot of high points and things to build off of as some of their players are absorbing into the new Gwendolyn team. Islanders Puck Mafia. Mafia won this game, I believe, 3-2. So Mafia will advance. And then Black Knights, one-timers. The Gwendolyn Black Knights end up getting that win. A little tricky here. You don't really keep stats for the playoffs, so it's hard. I kind of got to wing it. Maybe in the future, if we can get enough people, interested to do stats and help out with the scoring, we'll be able to have stats for that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let someone know, and maybe we can make it happen next season. So that was some MDHL action. I need to give some special major shout outs to the first DCHL League sponsor we have, Kevin Foley for Kevin Foley Real Estate. Going to do what he can, so that's awesome. Good start. Hopefully that'll help the league in some ways. So that'll be very cool. Fingers crossed that it works out well for everyone. Beyond that, yeah, I don't know, just hope it goes well. Hope everything works out as hoped and planned and expected. So that'll be cool. Beyond that, we have, I don't know, what else do we have? More people are doing the streaming, which is great. Our goal is to stream all of the MDHL playoffs, and we're through the first week. That's good. We'll keep it up moving forward. Hopefully, it goes well, and we get all the support that we've been getting. So, thanks for supporting, watching the streams, and all that. So, DCHL, last week was a bit of a soft open. With the travel tournament going on, there were a lot of teams out, a lot of teams on buys. It was an abridged week, so we had a full schedule of games here, including a dreaded 10 o'clock game, but that's okay here. So, first game of the day, we had Hockey Dead versus Lucky Sevens. Sevens get 2 goals and 2 goals and an assist from Sam Shepard. Tom scores a goal and an assist. Lucky Sevens win 3-1 despite Hockey Dead scoring the first goal of the game right here. Lucky Sevens 2-0 right now in the 2-0 in the rec division. So that's just something to watch. I said the team had a lot of potential last year. It looks like they're feeling it, coming out to a hot start. So that's definitely a good thing. Stick Magnets High Rollers. Aubrey and I had discussed this earlier. In the High Rollers get a 3-0 win. New Brian scores unassisted. Brian Bowers second goal, and Drew Benson with the third goal, 3-0, and Ryder with a shutout in his return for the Rollers. IPA Zambronis, we had a pretty good game here for the Puck Assassins. New look team. This was mentioned before. Added a bunch of new players. Curtis is on the team now. Jonathan Cintron, AJ on the team. So, and David as well, another new player. I didn't get to meet all the people, but new look IPA, hat trick from Cintron and 2 goals from AJ. Whole team played really well. Stitched with a 25 save shutout. Big win for IPA. Zambronis might have to go back to the drawing board and figure this one out, but IPA comes up huge right now. It's a good looking team. IPA is going to be a contender this season. So speaking of contenders this season in the D3 division, how about Goonies? How about All Blacks here? This is All Blacks' first game in D3. They had a couple injuries going in. Injury or two in the game, which was a little rough. Great game though, 4-3 Goonies at the end. Arian scores the game winner, but both teams played really well, and I mean Arian had a hot hand, so that definitely helped. 2 goals for Goonies to start it off, and beyond that, All Blacks had sub goalie, a couple sub players, so I'm excited. I think All Blacks will definitely make this division a lot better. The 16 will go a long way in terms of scheduling. I think it'll raise level of competition. IPA seems like he's doing doing pretty good there, but D3 is exciting. I know D3 doesn't get the love that the other divisions give, so hopefully the recent changes will get people paying attention a little bit more because they definitely missing out on a strong, high quality division. So D4 we had Crazy Eights against First Ladies. First Ladies Jacqueline. So yes, First Lady's gonna definitely feel a little bit of growing pains. Split into 2 teams to start, a little rough. Crazy Eights had a strong game. Sam Brinker, 2 goals, both goals for the Crazy Eights. Huge game for him. Pete Lane with the shutout. Sam's playing well. Definitely doing his thing. 2 goals against Adam Barrett, who is the new goalie for First Ladies, and you've seen him at some of the tournaments. He's first season in the league. Strong goaltender, so Sam getting 2 on there should be a real confidence booster for him. Arabian Nights Stingrays. This was a hell of a game, if I do say so myself. Stingrays get 2 unassisted goals from Felice to start it off. Alec scores for Arabian Nights to make it 2-1, but it will remain 2-1 right now. Stingrays get a couple new players this season. Scotty Fairchild, Scotty LaFoon back, and Brian in net will go a long way right now. So this was a game that Stingrays probably wanted to win. Last season they can just write that off as a crazy anomaly, and I feel like a win against the Gwendolyn team shows that hey, we can do what we want now. We're back, we're feeling it. Let's keep it up. So I think a lot of teams slept on IPA and Stingrays last season, and they cannot do it again. This D3 division will be very good, and every game will probably be like a playoff game. First Ladies Eleanor, the other team against the Gwendolyn Blue Knights right now. First Ladies end up winning a 1-0 game. Casey scores from Claudine and Hillary right there, but this was a strong game. Ben played great in net. Adam played great in net. Strong defensive game. I mean, a lot of these D4 games are going to be 1-goal games. I'm guessing D3 as well. These games are all going to be really, really close. And at the end of the day, it's going to be, can you reduce the amount of... It's so much of hockey is not about playing perfect. It's about just reducing the amount of mistakes you make and capitalizing on the mistakes that the other teams make. And if you can do that, you'll be in really good shape. So we had the much anticipated, much hyped, much streamed Ball Hogs debut against the Yager Bombs. Yager Bombs missing Paul Steinitz, missing Sean Miller, little rough. But that being said, Yager Bombs played a strong game. Chris Thorpe scored, Teal Hinga scored, and Adam Gehring scored. That's when you can start out and get 3 goals from 3 different scorers, it's definitely a real confidence booster. It's not like, hey, we got a superstar, we got to work around this player, or hey, feed this person the ball. It's let's work the ball around, let's move it, we'll score some goals, and that's a big win for Ball Hogs. Yager Bombs, that's back-to-back losses for them. Just saying, I believe it was June or July. They haven't had a loss since they got knocked out of the playoffs, and This is back to back. I don't think the Yager having to worry about. They were short, little rough first week of this. Excuse me, first week of the season, but they'll be fine. But it is fun to say Yager Bombs have not won this season. And after that, we had the Funk Master Untouchables matchup. This has to be one of the most storied rivalries in DCHL right here. This game was definitely in Untouchables' favor as Funks were missing Sean Fastbinder and Keith Ingram. So Untouchables played with a bit of an advantage, and it definitely showed. This game was 9-5 Untouchables. You're not gonna find much defense when these teams can play. It's goal, 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 and it's if you're not scoring, the other team's gonna take it down and break it out the other way here. A lot of breakaways. Goalies played great. I mean, it's D2 is so weird because you can look at a game and say, this team scored 9, this team scored 6, or this and that. I mean, on average, I have to look at the numbers, but the average game had to have been about combined 10, 11 goals last season for D2. Maybe low at 9. So teams are scoring left and right, and this is what you get in D2. It's offense, and it was pretty sweet. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unassisted goals. So that's a crazy number right there. 6 unassisted goals. So just think about that for a second. 6, that's insane. It's possibly, it could be some turnovers. It could be some, it could be some people taking it coast to coast, like Simon is very good at. Shout outs to Simon for being a hell of a player who can just carry that ball and just beat people left and right when needed. So yeah, that's what you're gonna get in a Funk Untouchables game. You're gonna get goals. Mercury Rising played the White Walkers, aka the Goldsteins, aka name change galore. So this was a game. Mercury Rising showing off some new players here. I got Adam Goldberg, previously mentioned on Untouchables. I got Jonathan Cintron, previously mentioned for IPA here. Cintron had 2 goals. Adam Goldberg had a goal, and subbing Adam Gehring with another goal. Adam Gehring, very good player right here. Subbed in D2 for Ball Hogs, got a goal. Subbed for Goldsteins, got another goal here. 2 wins for his team. So if you're looking for subs, Adam G is the man. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby. So Mercury Rising get a win right there. Definitely, this team seemed to have a different look every week. So it's kind of hard to pin down, where they are, where they're going to be, but definitely a good look for them to start. So Lizards Puck Buddies, this was a really good game here. Tway led off scoring, and then Brendan got a power play goal, but Jake threw a natural hat trick in there. Brendan scored for Lizards again, and Jake scored another to make it 4-3 and added an empty netter on top of this. This was a really good game. Yeah, I feel like D1 is starting to get a bit closer in terms of in terms of talent rating and in competitiveness. This was 1 goal game with empty netter. Mercury Rising game was a 2 goal game, and the Untouchables not Untouchables, Redcoats and Puck University 1 goal game. So these games are getting better. D1's really hard because I don't know much about graphs or whatever. When you get towards higher end players and your top tier superstars, there's just not enough for them to go around, and it's hard. It's really hard to balance it, but I think that there's more and more parity, so that's really good. The games are close, which is what you're looking for. Speaking of close games, Gorilla Gang Youngbloods rematch of the D2 Championship final here. Youngbloods were able to, I don't want to say get some vengeance. They were able to steal one here from Gorilla Gang. Gorilla Gang 44 shots. Kevin Shea made 42 saves in the win. Bill Weeks and Pat Ambrosio, Pat Am scored for Gorilla Gang, but Youngbloods got goals from Austin Chase and Joe Frew. Game winner by Joe Frew. So that was pretty pretty good game for Youngblood right there, starting the season out strong. Marler with 2 assists in the sub effort right there. So that's D2 is hopefully gonna. I mean, I feel like all the divisions are, getting better. D4, not sure because it's switching 8 teams. I think it'll help the league out, but I'm not sure. The other divisions definitely growing in the right direction. And final game of the night. This is the I need some coffee game of the night. We have the Redcoats against Puck University. So this was a game. This was Redcoats 27 shots, Puck U 28. Just really close game. Redcoats start out scoring. Wendy scores, beats Stelter top shelf. Sean Miller responds with an unassisted goal and then a second goal, doing Sean Miller things. Wendy responds for Redcoats. She's tearing it up lately, playing amazing. So that's 2 goals for her, 2 goals for Sean Miller. Will Clark, new addition to Puck University, scores the next 2, both unassisted to make it a 4-2 game. Mitch scores an extra attacker goal in the final minute, and Redcoats bring everything. They throw the kitchen sink at it, but Stelter holds up barely to make this a 4-3 Puck U win. Great game, a lot of just great games this last Sunday. So fingers crossed it continues. So great start to the season. Last week included as well. So, for everyone who's listening, do your best to watch the championship stream on Wednesday. It's a little staggered, so there's going to be a championship game between the Lords of the Rink and TNT at 8 o'clock. But before that, we got Blue Steel Blade Runners at 7. The Wu-Tang Clan against the Puck Mafia at 8:55. This is the Joe Shea Upset Watch game of the month, of the year, possibly. Puck Mafia plays Wu-Tang Clan very, very well, and all I'm gonna say is, if Wu-Tang's gonna go down, this might be the week that they take a loss here, because Puck Mafia plays them very well. Puck Mafia has their number. I feel like they're close. They're getting there every kind of week. It's close. That being said, I feel like Black Knights, I feel like Lucky Pucks can beat Wu-Tang too, but I feel like the Mafia, I think this is their time to shine. If I'm a betting man, I would go Wu-Tang, but I got this hunch that Puck Mafia is going to pull something special. So watch that out. Watch that. If you're interested in streaming, let us know. It's great to have more streamers, new streamers. It'd be really cool. Stay tuned for more DCHL action. And follow us on social media. Share the. If nothing else, just share the streams with your friends and family. Let them know that hey, this is what we do. It's so cool saying oh yeah, I'm watching my son or daughter play or this and that. It's so cool, and it's really cool you guys do this. I mean, like, who does this stuff? We're streaming games, doing This is so cool. I love it. Hopefully you do too. So that was DCHL, MDHL this week. So we will see you at the rink on Wednesday, ideally, and Sunday if need be. This is Joe Shea signing out.